Okay. So when the Devas become very callous in attitude, the Paramashivan decides that these people should be reminded of what they are. Because they were gloating over the glory of everybody, they are invincible and they cannot be, they are infallible. So that's the right word to use it. So he takes a form of a Yakshaha. So the Yakshaha is like somebody is a brilliant light which comes in the court of the Indra, and it presents himself saying that I am this light. So the people who are in the court, including Indra, cannot see the brilliance, cannot even take the eyes off this Yaksha, because it is so self-effulgent and luminous and brilliant in the sun that they are very curious to know who this person is, and before even they could even look at this person or what the light disappears. So naturally, when Indra Loka and Deva Lokas, they are very protective about their lokas. They do not want, because Asuras are also capable of disguising and coming in any form, because they are Mayavis, right? So they can assume any Maya, any form, and they can come. So they are worried with this Yaksha who has come, or this person has come. He's actually a Rakshasa who has come to assess the strength of what we have. And everybody is all worried about. So Agni says, I will go and see who this person is. And if it is something, I can bring him back to our court. So Agni goes first. And Yaksha is standing outside Indra's court a little bit far away. And he says, who are you? He says, I am this Yaksha. Then Yaksha says, who are you? He said, I am this Agni. You don't know who I am? I am this Agni, which I can burn the entire universe, all the 8 lokas in just a second. So I am that powerful. How come you do not know about me? He says, I don't know. So what do you do? Yaksha asked. He said, I burn everything. Whatever I touch, it will be burnt. And whatever I think, it will be burnt. Okay. So how about we do this? So he says, I'll place one small kurcham, one darbai. He places in front of him and he says, can you burn this? So Agni tries to burn it, he goes under it, he goes over it, sits on top of it, but the kurcham doesn't even do anything, it doesn't even get hot at all. So Agni finally accepts defeat and he's not sure what to do with this. He goes back and tells Indra that this Yaksha who is standing out there, who came to a court, is there. And he just did the silly thing of keeping one kurcham there, one darbai. And I tried everything, I couldn't burn it. Then Vayu says, don't worry, brother, I will go. I will blow this thing out quickly. So Vayu also goes. Vayu goes, Yaksha is waiting there. He says, okay, who are you now? He said, I am the Vayu. And I control all this air circulation in space. And I can blow wind at a very fast pace. Okay, so how about you do this? Try this. Your previous person came here. He was not able to burn this. Let me see if you can blow this away. So Vayu also tries everything. And he is not able to even move an inch of the darbai. He admits defeat. He goes back to Indra. And Indra now is really worried. 2 of his famous warriors, or famous, the Shakti, Agni and Vayu, both have accepted defeat. So he wants to know what this is. So he goes himself. He says, now I think I can't send anybody. I would like to go myself and check out what this Shakti is talking about. So Indra starts to go out. And as soon as Indra comes out, the Yaksha disappears. He just disappears. And Indra keeps chasing him for a very long time, and finally he couldn't find it. But Indra, being the king of Devas, he does not sit there and do nothing. He doesn't come back. He can't come back to Indra court and say that I am not successful. So he has to somehow find a solution. Because if he is coming back and telling everybody that I was not able to find his yaksha, then he will look a very silly fellow. So he meditates, sits there and meditates, and in meditation he understands that this yaksha is not some ordinary person. He is the Parabrahman as Shiva itself who is there. But how do you know him? So as he walks, meditating in every place where he thinks he could be, he meets Parvati sitting there in meditation. So as soon as Indra approaches Parvati, she wakes up and says, "Who are you?" He said, "I am Indra. I am after this person who came to my court. There's a brilliance in the light, and none of us could see anything about that brilliance. And he has disappeared. I actually want to know who this person is." So he says, "I am also meditating on the same person. And other than Brahman or consciousness or the ultimate Jyoti, the light of light, which you should contemplate on." So only when Indra is taught, his ahankara drops, and then he finally accepts that all the victorious things which he has been doing, all the victory he has been doing, achieving, etc., is of no use if he doesn't understand what Brahman is. So the story is like all the karma which you do, all activity you do, all of the fame you get, the power you get, wealth you get, everything you get. If you do not understand the adharam or the adhishtanam for that, then it is of no use. So any amount of activity you do, it's not going to give you jnanam, it is not going to give you freedom from moksha, from samsara. So that is the essence of what was the story is presented there. So let's look at the mantra, and then we'll come back to the page number 69. So first you go to page number 71, which is 3.1. Brahmaha devebhyo vijigye tasya ha brahmano vijaye devaha amahiyanta. Brahma hadevebhyo vijigye tasya ha brahmano vijaye deva amahiyanta. So the little meaning of that sentence is Brahmaha, or Brahma is as the Ishvara here. So Brahma is coming here as the Yakshaha, and as I told you, he is the Ishvaraha, or the Paramashivan, or Sadashivaha. I sent you last week, right? Do you have that?
I don't think I received it.
Uma, have you got the Bhashyam? Do you have Kinoprasad Bhashyam with you?
Bhashyam, I have up to about 61 page.
Okay.
Beyond that, I don't.
Okay. Do you have it with you? Uma, can you send it to Jay? Kinoprasad Bhashyam, do you have? Unmute. Are you able to send it to him? Do you have it with you?
Yeah, I can send it. Not now. I have to search.
Okay. Do one thing. Jay, you have to unmute first. Talk to me. You're on mute.
Yeah,
Sir, please post it
I need
on
the
the
last
group.
portion.
Okay. Let me see if I have one. Hold on. I'll just see if I have.
Sir, please post it on the group.
Yeah. Let's see this. Let me first find it. So you're after page number 68, right? 68. I'm going to post two of them. There are 2 volumes of that. See, I've got WhatsApp. You can check your WhatsApp now. And we should look at the first one
Yes, I
and the
got it.
second. We are actually the second book, I think. The first one is up to 68 pages.
Oh, okay.
So, see if you're able to open it.
Yeah, I'm able to open.
So if you look at page number 68,
In second Kena 2.
yeah, I think Kena 2 is Adhyaya 3.
Yes,
See
okay.
that?
Yeah. Yes.
So if you look at that last, the page number 3.1, which is page number
8 is it?
71, I think. Sorry. So in the second Adhyaya, second definite page number 3.1, section 3.1. You open this page number second Adhyaya.
It's
Second,
got page numbers 1, 2, 3.
yeah. So go to page number 3.
Oh, okay, okay.
Page number 3, you see.
Yeah, okay.
So do you see that mantra called Brahmaha Devebhyo Vijighe?
Correct, correct. Yes, I see that.
So that's the one. So you're able to see
Yes,
Well,
yes.
Sriram? Okay, Srikant, you're able to see, right? That one?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's the one we are following, but we haven't covered the previous section, which is Kena 1, 68 page, we haven't covered it, or 67,
Oh.
68. So we'll do
Okay.
first this one, and then I'll go back to that later, okay?
Okay. Okay, sir.
Shruti. We have covered that.
Which one?
Falashruti, 68 page.
Sixty-nine we haven't covered.
Iha cheda vedayeta atha satyamasti. We have covered that.
Yeah, but 69, I think we haven't covered, right? First page, 69, or the first one. Chapter Adhyaya 3, we haven't covered.
69, page number 1,
Page number 1, correct. Page number 1,
section 3.
correct. We haven't covered that. So that's what we are.
No, we have not covered that.
So for that, what you do, you go to page number 3 first. Page number 3 of the second one, okay? Kena number 2, okay, page number 3. Is it okay?
Yes.
Okay. So in that, Brahmaha Devebhyo Vijighe Tasya Ha Brahmano Vijaye Deva Amahiyanta. So the story is presented here. The first 2 chapters reveal the vision of oneness. We have seen before, of the Jiva and the Paramatma. So here, what are the characters here? Brahma, first word, Brahma, the limitless reality, represented by Yakshaha or Ishvaraha. So the word, first letter Brahma, first word represents limitless reality, and in this story, the character is enacted by a term called Yakshaha or Ishwaraha, I can say. Then there are also two other characters called Vayuhu, Indraha, Agnihi. Vayu, Indraha, Agnihi. So Indra represents the mind, and Vayu, Agnihi represents the sense organs, sensory powers. Vayu, Agnihi represents sensory powers, and Indra represents the mind. So all the Adi means it covers everything. Then the third character is Uma Devi. Uma Devi represents Guruhu or Shastram. So there are three characters presented here in the story. First is Brahma, the limitless reality, the first letter called Brahma. Vayuhu, Indraha, Agnihi, and Uma Devi. So Brahma Devebhyo Vijigge. So Devebhya Vijigge means the Devas once upon a time won. Brahmaha means once upon a time Devas won the war. Then Tasya ha Brahmano, of that Brahman indeed. Vijaye means victory. Devaha Amahiyantaha. So in that, the Amahiyantaha means glorified or were glorified. Who are glorified? Devaha. So Devaha signifies Agni, Vayu, Indraha. So the word Deva signifies the Indriyam or the power behind everything. So Vayu, Indra, Agni constitute the word Deva, and Devas were Vijaye. So they won the victory in that war, and they were glorified in that particular war. So Devas were being very glorified. So this is the synopsis of that. Okay. Now let's go back to page number 1. Why this story is important is given here. So if you look at the first line, Akyayikayaha prayojanam. Akyayikayaha prayojanam. It means what? Akyayikaha means it is elucidated or told. And prayojanam means the use of this explanation is being presented here. So the real reason for this in 3.1 is given in this bhashya. So I'll just read through that, then I'll come to word by word explain to you. Okay. Avigyatam vijanatam Vikhyatam abhijanatam ityadi shravanad yad asti tad vigyatam pramanaihi yad na asti tad vigyatam shasha vishana kalpam atyantam eva sadadrishtam. So First is avigyatam vijanatam. So avigyatam vijanatam means you have to go to verse number 2.3 to refer to that. So Brahman is known for the person who says, who don't know Brahman. See, Brahman is known for the person who says, I do not know Brahman. Because he is of the view that Brahman cannot be known, thereby he understands what Brahman is. If you look at the previous one, we saw that Brahman or consciousness cannot be described by any word. No one can say that I know Brahman. You can say that I am Brahman. The correct word to be used is, I know Brahman is not correct. I am the Brahman. So when you say I know, then that Brahman also becomes an object of knowledge. So it is like any other object of knowledge, and this art of knowing. You have to know Brahman. But it is not like this. That's why it says here, avigyatam vijanatam. So Brahman is unknown for the people, for those who say we know Brahman. So avigyatam vijanatam means for those people who say I know Brahman, they do not know Brahman at all. So you have to go back to 2.1 for 2.3 for this. Okay. So 2.3 we have given elaborate explanation about this. Then the second letter, vigyatam avijanatam. So Brahman is known by people who say, I do not know Brahman. See this. So first is what? Brahman is unknown for those who say, I know Brahman. Hope you are getting right. So if somebody says, I know Brahman, he doesn't know Brahman at all. We have been seeing this from chapter 1 onwards. So we do not need to go back again there. Just reiteration to say that anything which you quantify as Brahman, it is not that. Like in the example I gave, the example of the Purusha Suktam also, the Udait Purushaha I gave example, right? All the 11 aspects had to be negated. So Purusha is not any of those things. That which is beyond that is this Purusha. Same way, that which is beyond even speech or mind or any action is the Brahman. So one can never even say that I know Brahman even in thought also. Because it is just that when you say, do you know Brahman? Said, I do not know Brahman, I am the Brahman. So when you say I am the Brahman, then that is Purna Jnana. But when you say I know Brahman, it is not Jnanam at all. That's why it says here, avigyatam vijanatam. So Brahman is unknown for those who say we know Brahman. This is number 1. The second thing is vigyatam avijanatam. So Brahman is known by the people who say that they do not know Brahman, or they do not know Brahman, because they are not even trying to know Brahman is. You know what I'm saying? So they are not even trying to understand what, they are not even trying to go. See, the Brahman, how it will be like this. Let me go and understand what Brahman is. So they are searching for this experience called Atma Anubhavaha. And these people don't belong to that category. So, Vigyatam Avijanatam Ityadihi means etc. So, Ityadi means etc. Mudaliyavai, etc. Shravanat. What is Shravanat means? By listening. Listening what? Listening which one? Avigyatam Vijanatam Vigyatam Avijanatam. So Shravanat indicates that a person has listened to the teaching given earlier about Avigyatam Vijanatam, Vigyatam Avijanatam, Shravanat, Yad Asti, that which is existent. Yad Asti means that which is existent. Tad Vijnatam, that is known. So that which is existent, that which is known. How? Pramanaihi. So what is Pramanaha here? Shastra. Right? Pramanam, Shastram, sense organs, sensory powers, mind, etc. are the Pramana. So through the Pramanam, through the Shastram, and through the sensory perception powers, etc., it is known as this is existent and this is known. Then, Yad na asti. So first is Yad asti tad Vijnatam Pramanaihi. Then Yad na asti. Yad nasti should be so Yad nasti. That which is not there. Tad Vijnatam. Tad Avijnatam. So Tad Avijnatam becomes unknown or non-existent. See, from here onwards, this is all the Purvapaksha's theory. See, from Yad na asti, from Yad asti onwards, Yad asti tad Vijnatam, Yad na asti tad Avijnatam. So this is the explanation or the understanding given by Purvapaksha. So what is the understanding of our understanding? Avijnatam Vijanatam, Vijnatam Avijanatam. Right? So this is what is the understanding which you learned before through the statements. Now from and Shravanat, Ityadi, etc., we have understood this. So this Purvapaksha or this some other objection, some student who hasn't got clarification, he says, Yad asti tad Vijnatam. So if it is there, it is to be known. If it is not there, it is not existent. So according to them, what it has to be either known or should be non-existent. There can be two conditions. Either it has to be known, or if it is not known, it is not there. Non-existent. That's what it says here, Tad Avijnatam. Then this Upadrishtam is given there. What is Upadrishtam there? Shasha Vishana Kalpam. Shashaha means rabbit and Vishanaha means horn. And Kalpam means imagination. So it is like you're asking someone to imagine that a rabbit has got horns. So this is the view of the Purvapaksha. It is not the Adi Shankara's view. It is the view of the Purvapaksha. So he gives Shasha Vishana Kalpam. Brahma Atyantameva Asad. See the word Kalpam Atyantameva Asad Drishtam should be broken up into Brahma Atyantameva Asad or Tucham. Tucham means what? Non-existing. Mithya means that which is as though existent. So Tucham means non-existent. Rabbit's horn is non-existing, correct? You can never see a rabbit with the horn. So he's saying that you are asking us to believe something which is not there, and you are saying that to believe it is there. At the same time, what we see is whatever is there, that is what it is there. So we cannot accept a view that you want us to believe something which is not there to be there. What Shastram says, there's nothing called non-existent. Our view is there's nothing called non-existence because anything cannot come out of nothing. Right? You cannot produce anything out of nothing. Is it right? So when you say that I want to produce something out of nothing, it is actually a misnomer. it doesn't have any meaning. To produce something, there should have been something before. From that only something should have come. But if we say that I do not see that particular object, I'm not able to comprehend it, therefore I would conclude as non-existent. It is a useless argument, a baseless argument. Why it is baseless? Because this Shunyavadina or this Nayayikas, Vaisheshikas, or the Bauddha Madhas, they do not accept Shastra as a pramana. They are only interested in picking things randomly from different texts. And here they picked up what? Avigyatam Vijanata, Vigyatam Avijanata. This is what you are saying. You are saying Brahman is known to those people who do not know Brahman, and Brahman is people who know Brahman. This is what you are saying. So you are asking us to believe something which cannot be comprehended as existing. And then we are not able to understand this. And they give examples saying Shasha Vishana Kalpaha Kalpam, or similar to Shasha Vishanaha, like a rabbit having a horn, and this Brahmaha Atyantameva Asad. So according to us, this Brahma is Atyantam Eva, means this is absolutely Asad only, it is not the truth. See that, this is the argument. Okay. So two statements, okay. One is that which is existent. Second thing is called a conclusion or a vyaptihi. So vyaptihi means conclusion or an inference, or means of understanding or reason, you can say.
Sir, sorry, this is 2.3, right?
3.1.
Sorry, 3.1.
Yes. Go to second book, page number 1.
Oh, right. Okay. Sorry. Okay, sir. Thank you.
See, what is Vyapti Jnanam means what? Vyapti Jnanam here means or existence or reason and prior understanding is required to apply logic. So what goes with what has to be understood. So Vyapti means what goes with what has to be understood. You cannot just put anything to anything. See, it's a very beautiful commentary. It is not in the Bhashyam. I'll tell you this. Vyapti Jnanam is equal to Yatra Yatra Pramanam. It is not there. You write it down. Yatra Yatra Pramanam Asti. Yatra Yatra Pramanam Asti. Tatra Tatra Jnanam Asti. Yatra Yatra Pramanam Asti. Tatra Tatra Jnanam Asti. Then the Hetuhu is what? Yatra Yatra Pramanam na Asti. Yatra Yatra Pramanam na Asti. Tatra Tatra Jnanam na Asti. So what it means? If there is no Pramanam, that means it is non-existent. So what is Pramanam? Pramanam is talks about here a means of knowledge. And what are the means of knowledge? Sensory organs, sensory perception, manaha, buddhi, chit, ahankara is the pramana. Whereas what do we say? Brahmaha is agocharatvam. Brahma is agocharatvam. That is, which is not perceptible to sense organs, sensory powers. So Sarva Vishaya Agocharam is Brahma. According to them, Sarva Vishaya Gocharam is what they understand. Gochara means that which is known through the sense organs, sensory powers. Agocharatvam is one of the attributes of Brahman, which is cannot be seen. So yatra yatra pramanam asti, tatra tatra jnanam asti. So wherever there is pramanam, there is knowledge. So when there is sensory powers are functioning, knowledge is there. When sensory powers are not functioning, there is no knowledge. See this. This is the vyaptihi, this is the understanding, this is the inference or the conclusion of the statement. Yadasti tad vigyatam pramanaihi, yad nasti tad avigyatam. Hope you are able to follow. So that particular word, yadasti tad vigyatam pramanaihi. For that, you should write as yatra yatra pramanam asti, tatra tatra jnanam asti.
This is a Purva Paksha argument.
Yes, this is a Purva Paksha argument. Because this one is the first sentence is quoted by Adi Shankara, and then the comment, the understanding with the Purva Paksha is there because there are people sitting in the class. There's somebody who is actually raising an objection, saying that, oh, so whatever we can see through the pramanam, we can understand it is there. If there is no pramanam, if there is no means of knowledge, then that particular thing is not there or non-existent. That's why he says, vyaptihi jnanam is equal to yatra yatra pramanam. Wherever there is pramanam, asti, existing, tatra tatra jnanam is asti. Then yatra yatra pramanam na asti. Pramanam is not there, sensory perception is not there, or the means of knowledge is not there. Tatra tatra jnanam na asti. So jnanam is not possible or knowledge is not there. Because for them the pramanam is what is perception. Or anything has to be perceived, anything has to be experienced, anything has to be quantified. So that is the vyapti. Okay. Then he says what? So this is the pakshaha. See, the first one is called the pakshaha. Then the hetuhu is the avijñātatvad is the hetuhu. Okay. Avijñātatvad is the hetuhu. So idam brahma is this pakshaha. Okay. Idam brahma is this pakshaha. Avijñātatvad, you see here avijñātatvad, that which is avijñātam says here, that is unknowability is the hetuhu or the reason. Okay. And because of this hetuhu, sadhyam is what? Asad eva. Sadhyam, asad eva, conclusion. Okay. And drishtantam is what? Number 4. Shasha vishana kalpam. So drishtantam example is given. Okay. So there are 4 things. Number 1 is pakshaha. Second thing hetuhu. Third is called sadhyam. 4th is drishtantam. So 4 things are given in that word. Yadasti tad jnatam pramanaihi, yad nahasti tad avijñātam. So this is the conclusion, and shasha vishana kalpam is drishtantaha, means example. And what is the conclusion of that? Brahma atyantameva asad. This is the conclusion. Able to follow? No. Okay.
The last bit.
Okay. See, first one, avijñātam, vijñānatam, you understand, correct?
Yes.
That is our view. Vijñātam, avijñānatam is also our view, right? Ityadi, Shravanat, I have listened to this. So the student also is listening and the Purva Paksha also listening. So he says, I have listened to this. The Advaiti doesn't comment anything because he understood it. He doesn't ask any question. But the Purva Paksha is sitting there and says, I have heard about this particular thing. And it is our understanding like this. So it starts from after Shravanat. So yad asti tad vigyatam. So if it is existing, that which is to be known. Is it okay? And how it is known? Through pramanahi. So I gave the example of this pramanam, the vyaptihi. So vyapti means this is the whole surrounding. This is how it is. Right? Or the reasoning behind our philosophy. Vyapti means reasoning. Or so what he says here, Vyapti jnanam is equal to yatra yatra pramanam asti, tatra tatra jnanam asti. Then yatra yatra pramanam asti, tatra tatra jnanam na asti. So the jnanam na asti is the second line called yad na asti tat abhigyatam. Is it clear? So that is what is elaborated by, I gave you that long sentence saying that if it is available for perception, I take it for granted it is there. If it is not available for perception, not experienced or not by through available for any perception, by any means of knowledge, it is as though non-existent, and it is called tucham. So what example he gives? He gives shasha vishana kalpam. It is as though you are asking us to assume that a rabbit has got a horn, and you assume that rabbit has got a horn. But we know rabbit has got no horn. We cannot produce a rabbit with a horn, it is not there. Because I cannot see a rabbit with a horn. So how do you expect me to believe something which is not there? Because pramanam is not there. See, if you believe in pramanam, then you would not ask the question. But if you do not have any baselines, you always, what do you say? I do not believe this theory at all. Because you have not even understood what the theory is talking about. Any person who proposes a theory has to have a baseline or adharam for that. These people do not have an adharam because they are just tarkavadinaha, tarkikaha, they are logicians. So they will talk to each other, they will pick each other's words. Oh, you are saying like this. No, I understand like this. Whereas when you say something, you would have thought about it from the context of the Shastram, Upanishad, etc. And your understanding is from that point of view. But a person who is not believing Shastram doesn't have any of these things. He has only listened to what being said there and not even understood fully. He is only understanding what he wants to understand. Correct. Because that is the rationality, that's the way they see things. So they like to pick up things which they think is interesting for them to propose. So he says, Shasha Vishana Kalpam Atyantameva Asadrishtam. So this is my view that anything which is perceived to sense organs or pramanam, I accept as existing. Anything which is not perceived through pramanam or sensory perception or sensory powers, according to me, it is non-existing, it is asad. Is it clear? Okay, this is the view of the Purva Paksha, not our view. Okay, our view we should keep separately. See, when you study Shastram, right, in Brahma Sutra, you will come like this. One statement will come. One statement will be argued by 20 different people. There are 20 different connotations will come. That is why it is very important to know this now. Then only you can understand Brahma Sutra later. Otherwise, Brahma Sutra assumes that you already know this. You already know this. You already know the Tarkika Vadaha. You already know this. So they do not teach more there. They'll just say one line like this. This is what he says. This is wrong. Why? Because refer to that section in Mundaka Upanishad, Kena Upanishad, something. You again have to go back and say from that. If you've not heard before, you would be like, say something like this. So that is why it's very important. So Brahma Sutra is taught last because it is the culmination of everything, where you have all the knowledge assimilated. Chandogya Upanishad, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, everything is taught. Then Brahma Sutra is only the last step, the last Prasthanatrayam. After that, you can study, you don't have to study, it's up to you. By the time you would have spent 14 years in study already. So it would be like the blood running there. You cannot take the Vedanta out of your blood at all. So imagine if you study for 14 years, day in and day out. month and month, years and years and years. Is it possible for you to forget it? It is not possible because it's a lifestyle now. You will feel very, odd sometimes, because Shravanam becomes a topic, writing becomes Maranam, Nididhyasana becomes it. Because you will be teaching by the time. Most of you will be starting to teaching, you will be doing something at least to smaller groups by the time. So it will be a continuous thing. So you will never forget it. But these people, what they do not come to regular like this. They only study when they want. Randomly, they'll go to Bhagavad Gita, pick one text. Go to Kenopanishad, pick one mantra. They compare. A contradiction is there, let's put a contradiction there. You explain. They are not interested in explaining anything. All they want to do is put an objection. I don't accept this view. And according to me, it is not correct. So you say, Bruhi. They'll say, you say. So sometimes, the Acharya says, I'm not going to explain everything. He says, I'm going to only one khandana. So later on, he condemns all the Bodha Matas. He says, all of you are useless people. He's very critical. All of you, what he's saying is all useless, and he dismisses everybody in one sweeping rush. He says, I'm not going to argue each of you. It is called Prathama Malla Nyaya. See, Prathama Malla Nyaya means if there are, so boxing competition is there. And you have to go from, midget to intermediate to bantamweight to heavyweight, and then the final. Right? So there are different grades on there. So 50 kilos, 70 kilos, 80 kilos, 100 kilos, 120 kilos. So you have to go through different stages of fights to qualify for coming to the world boxing title, where you finally meet the best boxer there. He is also studying. So either you have option of, going through that process and winning and getting tired of winning every battle, or you just watch how these people are progressing. And you train yourself according to that, and you wait to meet only the final boxer. So you directly go to the final boxing ring and you knock him off somehow or the other, because you would have done some preparation already by training with other people instead of going to fighting like this. So it's called Prathama Malla Nyaya. So Adi Shankara didn't do anything. He says he only saw the fallacies in all these people. They were all fighting with each other. And he said, I don't want to refute all your arguments. He saw, oh, this makes sense. But it doesn't. So he says, okay. So he just dismissed everybody and he put Advaitam Siddhantam as the first one. Because Advaita Siddhantam is based on Shastra, nobody can shake it. Nobody can say that Vedas is not saying the truth. Because till now, so many years, maybe 8,000-9,000 years has been there. Nobody has come across and told that this is Asat. Nobody can prove because it is based on some fact. The fact is there. Vedanta is there. So Buddhism or this scheme, these people do not have any. So this question is coming from the Purva Pakshaha. Okay. So is it clear up to this one? Up to this? Okay. Then Tad idam Brahma. Tadedam Brahma avijñātatva asadveti manda buddhina vyamoha badhiti tad artha iya ākhyayikaha. Okay. So tad idam Brahma means this Brahma, or this is called a Pakshaha. So tat idam Brahma means this is called a Pakshaha or a section. This Brahma avijñātatva means what? This is the hetuhu. So avijñātatva becomes the hetuhu or the reason, because it is of unknowability. Okay, because this Brahma is of the nature of unknowability. Asat eva iti. Asat eva iti means what? This is not the truth or this is asat. So this is the sadhyam. Sadhyam means conclusion. Okay. Sadhyam means conclusion. And who are these people? Manda buddhina. So manda buddhina means they are not deluded people. See, manda buddhi here means the people's buddhi who is not working in the right direction. Okay, manda buddhi does not mean that they are dull-witted people. Dull-witted, when I say here, they are of the nature of argumentative people. They will not accept something because that's the way they want to see. They are highly respected people. Like if you go and tell somebody who's a samskari, very, very samskara, shastram padichinne irukanu, karma ritual, now what you will say? See, the shastram padikkiradhu, brahma shastram padikkiradhu, idella vandu is not going to do anything at all. You namadjapam pannungo, you do all the ritual, sandhyanam pannungo, it will give you brahma, it will give you moksha. There are people who will say, see, adella vandu namakku ottu varadhu. Practical முடியாது நம்மளால. இதான் நம்ம பண்ணணும். நம்ம சாஸ்திரம் says சந்தனம் பண்ணணும், முந்திர பண்ணணும், பூஜை பண்ணணும், புனஸ்காரம் பண்ணணும், மடியா இருக்கணும், சாஸ்திரமா இருக்கணும். All this because all we should do better. Chanting பண்ணணும், everything should do. All these things are said. This alone will take you to Brahman, to moksha. Because they do not want to even look into the Shastram text. Now, tell me, Jay, how many people in Sydney we have? Really speaking, all the Shastri people are there, right? Venkatrama Shastri is there, Atreya is there, all these people are there. How many of them really study Bhashyan? How many of them study really Mundaka Upanishad, Kena Upanishad? They do not know. They can study because they have studied through Gurukulam. See, avala nalla padichirukka, Vaidikas. They have gone through the Gurukulam, they have studied properly everything. So what I'm trying to tell you is I'm not blaming them at all. It is because you always meet these kind of people who will come across and say that this is not the truth. Because for them, avigya tattva, unknowability, is the reason why we are dismissing it. For anybody to know Brahman, they have to experience it. See, Anubhavam is important. Experience learns. Supposing if I don't experience means, how can I assume that it is not there? So when I can't experience means, how can I don't know what to say. What Shastra says, that every experience is Brahman. Without Brahman, there is no experience. Brahman is not experience, but every experience is Brahman. Correct? But because they do not know this concept, they are searching for this experience. And for them, the experience becomes Satyam. So when the experience is not there, or a particular miracle is not happening, then they are lost. Because they do not know, they cannot comprehend anything. The same thing talks about here. Tad idam brahma. So this is pakshaha. Avigyatatva, because of the unknowability. Asat eva iti manda buddhinaha. So the manda buddhinaha, the dull-witted people or utterly confused people. Vyamohaha, total confusion or utter confusion. So moha means, so vyamoha means what? Mahamoha. Vyamoha means total confusion or delusion, you can say. See, in Panchadashi also there is one famous mantra. Namaste Shankarananda Guru Padambu Janmani Savilasa Mahamoha Graha Grahaika Karmani. So Graha Grahaika Karmani means what? Karmana means duties. So the karma is like this crocodile. Karma, what does it do? It drags you to samsara. Right? So what does the crocodile do? First of all, it will catch you. Correct? Crocodile will hold you and then it will not eat you there. Because his strength is not in eating on the shore. it will try to pull you into the deepest water, correct? The deep water you cannot struggle, you cannot come out because it is the land of the crocodiles. So in that you will be drowned and you will be finished forever. The crocodile will eat you. So graha grahaika karmane. And what is savilasa mahamoha? So vyamoha savilasa mahamoha. So what you do? Namaha Shankarananda Guru Pada Ambu Janmane. So you surrender to the padam of the Guru, by which one will be free. Same here, Vyamohaha. Because of its unknowability, Ma Bhoot. So see the word Ma Bhoot Iti. Right? Ma Bhoot means may not have. And Iti for this reason. Tad Artham Yam Akyayikaha. So this, because of this, the story is presented here. So why the story is presented here is the explanation given. Okay. So Tat Idam Brahma is the Pakshaha. Under discussion. Okay. Then Avijñātatvat is the Hetuhu, or unknowability is reason. And what is the Sadhyam? Asad eva Sadhyam. Iti Banda Buddhinaha Vyamoha Bhabhut iti Tad Artham Yam Akyayikaha. So, because of the reason, this story is Arabhyate. See the word Arabhyate there? So the story begins because of this reason. What reason? Because of this Purva Paksha's view that it is something which is not to be knowable, therefore it is not there. Okay, this is the preparatory versus preparation for the actual text, which begins a bit later. Okay. Up to this, are you clear? You're able to follow the Bhashyam, right, so far? Okay. So we will stop here because already 9:10 now. And we will continue from this section called Arabhyate. After this, we'll continue and see what the Bhashyam says. Okay. Uma, you're able to get all the definition? What do you want? Unmute.
What are these called actually? Headings, subheadings I want. Hetuhu, Idam, Brahma, Sadhyam, Drishtantam.
See, for everything there is actually, see, it's like, what do you call introduction. Like,
Acha,
introduction.
Hetu means
Hetu
the
means
4 points.
Hetu,
Idam, Brahma.
no, Hetuhu becomes the reason or the why it is, or the reason behind this particular assumption. See,
What are these? Pakshaha, Hetuhu, Sadhyam and Drishtantam. 4 points you gave. What are they?
see,
They are called under what subheading?
so they are actually the same. Tad idam brahma abhijñātatvat asadve iti manda buddhinaha. Right? You see that?
Yes.
So that is being given as Tad idam brahma is this Brahma or this subject, or this is the under discussion. Okay, so this Brahma is which is being discussed becomes the Pakshaha or the section or the introduction.
Subject matter.
Subject matter. And what is subject matter? Subject matter, there should be Hetu, right? For why we are discussing, because it is unknowability become the Hetu. Right?
Okay.
And why it is Hetu? Because unknowability is there. Therefore, what is the conclusion? Sadhyam becomes Asad Eva iti. Right?
Okay.
And he gives a Drishtantaha Shasha Vishana Kalpam.
Yes.
Drishtantam is given to corroborate our understanding of the Hetu. You got it?
Yes.
It is not given in the Bhashyam, I am giving that one to you.
Yes, yes.
This is the Tarka Shastra method, right?
Correct.
Hetu, Sadhyam,
Shastra
Drishtam.
Nyaya. Tarkashastra Nyaya is, that is how it is discussed. Because he says, what is a hetu? He says, oh, this is what it is. So what is drishtantaha? It is drishtantam is this. Right? Whose paksha are you talking about? Oh no, I'm this pura paksha. I don't belong to this paksha. So paksha means from which section you're talking about. So the section is about this Brahma which you're talking about becomes the section of the pura paksha. So here the paksha belongs to the purva, not the Advaitis. Okay. Is it clear, Uma?
Yes.
It's a bit complicated, the Bhashya, but this is only text which is a little bit that way. But we'll be okay. Because I wanted to take a bit slowly and up to this you are clear, Jay? Any questions?
Yes, it's okay. Good.
You're able to follow, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. We are not, I mean, see, this is a story. See, the story, but what he has given is the view of the Purva Pakshi, how he thinks. And you will come across people in your daily walk of life where somebody will say, I don't believe what you're saying. Show it to me, the Brahman is there. He says, I don't know, I can't tell you what Brahman is. Yeah, then why do you talk about Brahman? Then what do? You don't talk about it. See, you don't talk to people who don't want to know about Brahman, you don't talk to them. Atma is consciousness. The whole thing is you are all asat, because you do not want to go and educate them. Because when you educate them, they will actually come and uneducate you. So whatever you learned, will again go, my God. Then you again, because this is why Tarkavadina will walk. If you are happy with that, continue with what you're doing. You want to do puja panama pannango, whatever you want to do, you do. If that gives you satisfaction, if you're happy, you be with that. Because they do not come on our line, we do not go in their line. Correct? See, we are not here to stand in judgment against them to say that what they are doing is wrong. Because we are not in any way interested in what they are doing right or wrong. Correct? We are interested in what we are doing is right. Is it right? Because the knowledge is not for them, it is for us, for one's own self. So when you already have the knowledge, you do not need to go and prove to everybody. Our Ketans, suppose if they are interested to come and know what is this, like one of the students asked me the other day, I want to stop chanting every month. So why? I said, I've learned so many things, but I do not know why I'm doing. I said, this is exactly now you understood the question. So many years you've been doing. And suddenly now you come to a stage when you understand a fallacy, you do not know why, how long you're going to do and when you're going to do. And what am I doing here? So this is the first step into studying Vedanta. Anana, the habits which are there, this paksha is very, very strong. And the hetu also is very strong. What is hetu? Hetu is saying, if I don't do this, I'll have a problem with this. I don't understand this. I'm better doing this. So this becomes the reason for that. And they give example. The Drishtanta also will give you, saying that, see, if I don't do this, punya papa undarum. I'll feel uncomfortable. I will not be able to do this puja. People will talk bad about me. All this becomes the Drishtanta, example they give you. So here the Drishtanta is given this way. But in practical example, you have all these things. But we do not talk about this. So Paksha people, then the reason, hetuhu, then the sadhyam conclusion. Oh, because of this, I do not want to do this. I don't want to study Shastram. I don't want to do this. I'll drop out. This is sadhyam. Because already conclusions. Okay. So such people, we must not go and encourage them. All up to know. You must not pull anybody to say that, Vanga padingo, Shastram padingo. Please come and study Shastram. Please. Because you are not here to promote anything. So whoever wants to come and study, they can come and study. Whoever doesn't want to study, they can also leave also. Because at the end of the day, it is not for, you are studying for your own self, not for anybody else. But in the process of studying, you are educating, you are getting more knowledgeable. So we must, that is why, but this Purva Paksha is not like this. He is coming and, poking his nose into everything. He is sitting there and asking questions. That is why Adi Shankara has to write all this bhashyam there to, really speaking, there is no Purva Paksha. It is our own imagination. He thinks that you will think like this. And because you may think like this, I am saying this, it is not like this. That's how it is. Okay. So we'll continue. I think Uma on the pro or crowd with the class. Is it right or wrong?
Correct. I feel also.
See,
Well,
otherwise,
thank you very much. I am honored. Thank you very much.
you are one of the most committed students for so many years. And
Thanks a lot.
See, me and Jay were there, but Jay is very busy in his project work, and I am the only person in the class. So sometimes when I see him also very tired, at 7:45 he'll come out and say, "I'm just come out of So sometimes we don't want to have the Upanishad class discussing so many things. So it was probably my own excuse also. Sometimes he was very busy, and sometimes there is two people there. What do we talk about? So we missed a couple of classes. Now that you are coming back on board, your social distancing is all over now. At least once a week you can come for 1 hour. We can continue this class. Okay.
Yes.
So,
We'll be regular.
Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tatsat Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Namaste. Shubhratri.
Namaste.
Namaste Shrikantji. It's too late for you, right? 10:20, right? 11:20 for you.
11:20.
It's actually New Zealand time 11:20 for them.